So, da Marlies, DOB Knights. So I'm just going to go over some preseason and training camp darlings that everybody's talking about. Just a couple of them that I just keep seeing reports on, and all their good work in the preseason, and they're the next big thing to come out of the preseason. So I'm going to get started with Efton Chisholm III. Dude came out of nowhere, undrafted free agent for the Patriots. He came out of Eastern Washington, same college as Cooper Kupp. His stats were super hard to find. Any tape on him was kind of hard to find. I only found a couple highlights from Eastern Washington, and then I used the first 2 weeks of the preseason to look at his routes and everything. At Eastern Washington, he played 5 years. He had 53 career games, 346 receptions, 3852 yards, and 37 touchdowns. I heard that he broke some of Cooper Kupp's records, receiving records there. In his 2 preseason games, he had 12 receptions, 121 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had an injury in the first game, but it didn't seem to be serious. He played in the second game, and he was just kind of on the bike the rest of the game in that first game. So things I notice is he gets lots of yards after catch, or receiving after catch, whatever you want to call it. He gets lots of over-the-head catches. There was quite a few, replays of him in college just, looking up at the ball, catching it over his head. That's a really good trait to have, especially for red zones. And then he had lots of screens, and I read something weird that 67% around there of his receptions came behind the line. So it was like a screen or, within 5 yards. Not lots of tape, like I said. His short routes are really good, and he's aggressive towards the ball. So when the ball's coming towards him, he comes towards the ball, make sure that he can get the defenders off of him and, grasp it. His other routes are rounded with very little to like. But that's okay if he's running the short routes and whatnot. He's going to be a slot receiver anyway. Like I said, there's a small sample size, very little video and research to go off of for him. I wouldn't mind picking him in the 4th round, of the rookie draft, just to take a chance on him. The next one I'm going to do is Britton Strange. He just became the tight end 1 for the Jaguars as Evan Ingram leaves. He showed a little bit of, some, sorry, I have concussions, so sometimes I lose my train of thought. I'll come back to it. So anyway, he uses his body position well. He has solid hands. He had 2 drops last season, all of last season, which is pretty good. About 55 receptions, 400 yards. Liam Cohen loves his tight ends, and he could have a Cade Otton year. I would compare his game kind of to Cade Otton in a way that he's not the fastest. He's kind of slow, somewhat, big stride kind of guy, and then his hands are solid. He has a very quick separation, so he gets off the line quick. He can separate from his defenders pretty well, and he's very good at the back of the end zone. I noticed that on the tape from last year during quite a few of his games when Evan Ingram was hurt, that he found that back of the end zone, and he caught I think 2 of his touchdowns, just running around back there and giving Trevor Lawrence time to find him. He has sneaky speed, and he can break tackles. He's the hype is kind of good about him. This is the year. If he doesn't have a good year this year, then that's probably it. He's going to be mediocre for the rest of his career. So this year is his chance. If you really need a depth tight end, I wouldn't mind trading for him because you don't have to give up too much. Maybe a 3rd round or a equal or lesser player. For instance, I tried to trade Isaac Guerendo straight up for Britton Strange. Unfortunately, Brian Robinson Jr. just got traded to the Niners, so that might not work out for me. The guy texted, he said he's thinking about it, so we'll see. I'd say his ceiling is going to be 750 receiving yards this year with 8 touchdowns. It's possible. You never know. I could see around like 65 receptions. It's just that sneaky speed and the way that he separates from his defender that he can do that. So he will be a starter, obviously, with Ingram gone, and then also I think he's going to play 85 percent plus of the snap share because he's a solid blocker as well, and he can help a lot with that. That's also why he can be very sneaky because he can do the blocking and then go out for a route real quick as soon as he's taps the defensive end or blitzing linebacker, whoever's coming at him. So that'd be a good a good one to get if like you need tight end depth, or if you just want to take a chance on somebody that doesn't cost that much. The next one I did that everybody keeps on making comments and thinking that he's going to be the next big guy is Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt, running back from Washington. He also has a small sample size, and this is because for some reason he missed all but one game of last year due to a random technicality of he switched numbers at Alabama State, and this was before he went to New Mexico in 2023, and then obviously Arizona for 2024. That's a weird thing for the NCAA to crack down upon. It's probably against the rules or whatever, but I mean, you're allowing players to, do 6-7 years in college because of COVID or injuries. And I don't know, it was just kind of weird to me. Like, they didn't allow him to do his 4th year because of this weird technicality for switching numbers. So one thing about him that I noticed right away is he can't block. He's a terrible blocker, and that's going to take a lot of his snap share away if he gets on the field, because he's not going to be able to block for Jaden Daniels when he's on the field. So it's strictly only running. He's also not that great of a pass catcher. I saw in the preseason that he did have a couple of catches, but he isn't known for that. He does have a powerful one cut, and his vision is very average. I feel like he gets the ball and like accelerates, but doesn't really look to where he's going. Just kind of follows the play. The patience is average too, so it's like very average vision and very average play recognition or ball carrier vision. He does try to make too much happen, and this leads to a lot of unnecessary hits. Also, I notice when he's running and he's trying to take more damage for some reason, he runs like backwards. He like backs into the defender. This can lead to like a huge back problem where he's going to get hit once in that back and he's going to be out for a couple games, or he's going to have to take like not epidural. He's going to have to take a shot to the back. I forgot what they call it. Matt Stafford just had it. But anyway, he can break through arm tackles, but not when he's like turned around. So like that's the one thing I didn't like, and there's like a huge red flag besides like not being able to block and not being able to catch is that he gives up his back too much. I don't know, just something I noticed. Let me know what you think in the comments if you followed him at New Mexico or Alabama State or that one game for Arizona. I might try to get him as a low priority free agent, like after the rookie draft. I wouldn't probably waste a 4th round pick on him, but to each his own. I mean, there's no telling if he fixes this during the season or if he gets more carries. Like I said, they just traded Brian Robinson Jr., so he may have like more of a shot to see the field more often. The next one I did was Ollie Gordon. So Ollie Gordon, kind of intrigued me just because he had 1,700 yards and 17 touchdowns in 2023, and then but I noticed in 2024 it dipped bad to like 900 yards and like 7 touchdowns. So he lost 10 touchdowns and he lost about 700 yards. That's a huge dip. So he did have a insignificant leg injury in 2024. Didn't keep him out of any games. Didn't really affect him too much, it looked like. So why the dip? Looking at the tape, I see that the O-line was not that good compared from 2023 to 2024. That could have something to do with it. Oklahoma State also played from behind. They were 3-9 last year, and they were constantly playing from behind and getting blown out. Ollie Gordon didn't get as many carries as he used to, and then that dude, Ollie Gordon, just has slow acceleration. Like as soon as he gets the ball, he's just not accelerating enough for me to want to put him in. So like he is patient. So he is patient and waits for his blocks, but while he's patient, he just doesn't have the acceleration to break through the line and get through. There's just no explosion that I see. He's definitely a power back. If when he does get speed, he does run over the defender with a lot of heat. Like he can generate a lot of power. He's definitely a power back. Like I said, his poor, and I would say go as far as say piss poor acceleration kills him. Like even in the tapes that I watched for their first two games of the preseason, Miami, he did play Chicago, and we did stuff him twice before he finally got in the end zone. So that's kind of a telling sign because we can't stop the run still this year. So that's going to be a big problem for the Bears. Bear down. But at the same time, Ollie Gordon, like just a terrible acceleration is just going to hurt him. Also notice when he does finally get up to speed, he doesn't have a next level speed. He has consistent speed that he runs at. Can't get to that second level. So the terrible acceleration mixed with the non-existent second speed kind of kills him. I would only pick him over Crockett Merritt because of his power and the ability to use him in the goal line, which is possible for Miami to pick him. So I would pick him like late fourth. I know I got him in one league, not sure where I picked him. I might have picked him too high just because I saw the 1,700 yards and watched a little bit tape from that year, but failed to watch the 2024 tape. So it all depends on that. The last guy I wanted to do was Pat Bryant. Heard so many things about him. People won't shut up about him. So, all these darlings and of preseason and training camp getting all these headlines and everything. Pat Bryant was one of them as well. He did have a concussion, but he didn't miss any time last year. He was past concussion protocol that week before he's able to play. I did notice it in college, but more in NFL on the two games that I watched, that Bryant does everything he can to get open. And what I mean by that is when he's running his routes, you can see his head move right and left to see where the defenders are, so he knows where he's going to go to find that soft zone. He finds a soft space almost all the time, and that's how he gets open. I did notice also that he does run a lot of short routes. In a weird way, his separation issues, because he has trouble separating from his defenders, except for on the press. On the press, he's actually pretty good, like right off the line. But when it's, he's running his route and the corner is playing man, off man, or playing in zone coverage, his separation isn't that good. Maybe he needs a little bit better footwork, or I don't know what it is, but in a weird way, his separation issues are negated by his ability to find those soft zones. So he is able to find the soft zones even with separation on them. So he's always good for that second and third look for when the quarterback's in trouble. I had the chance to draft Pat Bryant. I had 2.12 in one league. Ended up getting Harold Fannin. No regrets on that one. I felt like Harold Fannin is the better pick anyways after doing all my research on Pat Bryant and then Harold Fannin previously. So no regrets, but I did have a chance to pick him at 2.08 instead of Bashul Tutin. So that one's kind of a toss-up. I'm going to do research and talk about it on Tuesday about Bashul Tutin and see if I actually regret picking him over Pat Bryant. On Tuesday, we're going to go over Dynasty League my friend's in. I actually dropped out of it. I'll tell you the reasons why on Tuesday, but also I did make some dumb trades, and hopefully I'll have like the history to go over and look over and tell you the dumb trades that I made for in that league. I didn't have necessarily a bad team anyways, even with those bad trades, but It was just my team was better off if I just didn't trade for these specific people. And then also next week is finally the week, and we can go over how many yards that I think certain people will get during week one. Definitely not for Hard Rock or anything, wink, or any parlays, wink. Like I'm not going to do any of those because YouTube doesn't like me doing those. But I'm just going to go over like how many yards I think to get between like over 40, over 50, over 65, over 80. And then over what I think they might get between 85 and 100. Stuff like that. Wink. So anyway, just keep in touch. Let us know in the comments what you think, especially on Krosky Merit. See if you have a different point of view or perspective on him. Leave us comments, questions, whatever you need to. We'll go over it. We're also going to go over, expand a little bit and go over Micah Parsons' situation next year or next week on Tuesday to see, what we would do if we were the Cowboys, or if like, how many teams should actually trade up for him and whatnot. And then also, my friend's going to go over JJ McCarthy. I kind of I was going to do it with him, JJ McCarthy, but I decided to go Bayshaw Tootin instead. One, because I'm probably going to be a little bit harsh on dang, I just forgot his name and I just said it. On JJ McCarthy, and I'll probably go. I'll let my friend do it because we played them week one, and our defense is really good. That I think that even though they have Justin Jefferson, who will definitely get his catches, I think their running game will actually be the deciding factor, and not JJ McCarthy. And can't kind of test him on that. So like, I think he'll have a not so good week one, and then might take him a couple weeks to get better because of that, how bad he'll probably play week one. This of course coming from a biased Bears fan, but I have the capability to be unbiased, but JJ McCarthy, since he plays us twice a year, and it kind of works against him anyway. So we'll see it that way, and then so catch us on Tuesday talking about the Dynasty League that my friend is in, and then also the Michael Parsons situation and JJ McCarthy and Bashul Toot. And then the next week, about that time, doing how many yards that receivers and running backs are going to get. Let us know if you have any comments. Peace out.